Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Zing 6 podcast. This week has been insane. I think all of us can agree on that. Our emotions have been all over the place about everything that's going on. And I think we can see that a little bit, especially on Tumblr. Everybody's like changing their mind like every 5 minutes, and it's funny. It's so enjoyable to watch. So we're going to start off where we left off last week, which is Andrew winning the HOH with the potato thingy, which I thought was funny, especially because Arlie was all like, oh yeah, I'm trying so hard.
Potatoes were a theme that week.
Yeah, the potatoes. Like, this week was the week of the potato.
Yeah, the week of the potato. From the potato bocce ball to the potato HOH to Potato Gate, it was scandalous.
And they didn't show anyone like suspecting that Arlie was even being dramatic or like lying, which I thought was really interesting.
He did a good job.
Because it's been done so many times before that you would think, huh?
He did a really good job.
Yeah, like it was like people were bringing him water, pouring water.
Yeah.
Like, like
it's so funny.
He did like such a good job that it was like over. And I think like why was no one's suspicions like, like just a little like.
Yeah,
he really like 5 times. It was so funny.
I know, he's like dragging himself, gasping for water. Okay.
I know, and just like collapsing and stuff.
I know.
Like, you weren't even the one holding the potatoes. Like, you were throwing them. And it's just kind of like, I feel like if I was there, like, I probably would have been like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, you're kind
always
of
one person that like
overreacting.
knows or like can sense that shit. So
Yeah.
it's good on him though.
I would have had his number.
It was so funny though.
I'm
but
just
yeah.
a school teacher.
I'm a cameraman.
He gets thrown under the bus so much on this podcast.
Oh my goodness.
No.
But yeah, and then, I mean, I was kind of, like, so far with the competitions, I've been kind of disappointed by how, like, physical they are. Like, how can you expect, like, Neda and Sarah to even have a chance at the potato thing?
I hated Kyle in that
like...
competition. Kyle's like calling them out. He's like, "Oh, so weak, eh, Sarah? Can't even hold this cage up." I'm
it's like she's a mom.
Yeah, I'm like, you have 125 pounds on this poor girl. Also, he's like the second person to fall. Oh, it's the circulation. It's the circulation. Okay, because like 85 people beat you in this competition. So the one thing you boast about, like, I'm a bodybuilder and I can't even like compete in the physical competition.
I know, like, that was crazy. But yeah, and then, of course, he nominates Neda and Paul, which I was really upset with the way that he nominated Neda, because he was like, oh yeah, like, you're a social threat or whatever. And it's like, why would you call her out like that if she's really just a pawn? Because now you're putting her on everyone's radar as being a social threat.
Is that, like, everyone would know, I would think, well, maybe not because they didn't know about, like, Arlie was faking, but, like, that Paul would be his target. So it didn't really matter who the other person was. He could have said, look, it doesn't matter who else I put up against Paul, like, during the ceremony, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
He didn't have to make a cover.
Yeah, he could have easily just been like, you're a pawn. Like, I hate Paul. He nominated me last week, and he called me a racist. And so, yeah, he's fucking crazy. He needs to go. So, Neda, you're a pawn. Like, if someone wins a veto, they're taking you off.
Yeah.
Like, you're cool. It's okay.
I mean, the nomination ceremony after just spoke for itself in terms of him Paul going after him, and just like, I thought it was really, really pathetic of Paul, like, to try. I still can't get over that he, like, knows that he isn't racist or sexist, but is just saying it to tarnish his character in the game, but it goes so much more beyond that.
Exactly, especially with what happened with Big Brother 15. It's like, you don't joke about that shit now. Like, when people literally lost their jobs over stuff that was said on Big Brother, like, you can't just say that.
The thing is with Paul is that I think he's actually crazy, and I think what happened is he's
shown that.
He's crazy, and he just says shit, and then later on, he's like, in the diary room or something, he probably realizes, like, oh,
I'm part of my plan.
So then he's like, oh, actually, it was part of my plan. Yeah, I know
thinks he's the mastermind.
Perfect plan.
Talk about his Jesus Christ edit too, like from rags to riches. Like, what is this? Or from riches to I don't know.
I don't understand why there was so much focus on Paul, Kyle, and Adele for the past couple episodes. Like, literally everyone hated them, and
They're
they're
so
like
irrelevant.
focusing the entire episode on them. And even on the fucking feeds, like that's another thing. It's like there's always a feed on them, and it's like no one gives a shit about these guys sitting in a hot tub talking about nothing. Like, I want to see Netta and John being cute, or like even Sabrina bitching to someone somewhere else. I'd rather watch that than watch Paul and Adele and Kyle do their like show thing. Like,
Sabrina's like, in terms of like, she's the bottom for me, and then Paul's right above her. So I still like it's my little like. They're like almost the same.
Do you think he likes me?
Yeah. How is no one like? I don't understand. Like, she'd be a swimmer. I'd have to get her out. Like, there's no way. Like, she can't even do hair. She can't even like do things.
Oh my God, Arlie's haircut. Can we please talk about that for a second? She's like, oh yeah, like I'm a hairdresser, and then she like does his hair and leaves like this like big ugly like.
Looks like the bottom of a cracked egg on his like this. I don't know,
oh, it's so bad.
I would just like to point out. No, you can go. You can go. No, it's okay, because I was going to go somewhere else.
Okay. On the feeds, he was like, oh, I'll wear a hat for, like, the live episode, and then he didn't even end up doing it. It was so obvious that his hair was all messed up.
Oh, man.
No, but I would just like to point out, last week, Paul was very half-naked in the DR. And this week, he was in a chicken suit.
That chicken suit was probably the best costume, and like the person in it and like the costume itself just
was
too good. You trot it out like
a reading rules.
Nearly fucking lost
he's
my
sitting
mind.
there in his fucking chicken suit, and he's like, I'm coming
the bad guy.
I was like, oh my God.
Part of me thinks production,
he's not a racist.
like, production had to have a hand in that. Like, they probably didn't let him take it off. Let's keep it on, let's keep it. There's no way, like, that has to be, like, just too perfect to just be, like, a natural
Or it was
thing.
part of his plan.
Yeah.
Oh, God. The people put me in this suit. The people put me in this suit.
I didn't put me in the suit, the people.
That reminds me, did you guys hear, like, last night, Arlie was talking to someone, and he was saying that for the first HOH, they had to hand it to Paul because they ran out of ice. Like, all the ice that they were standing on, it, like, ran out, so everyone had to decide who would win HOH.
I thought it seemed a little easy.
Oh, that changes a lot, then.
Yeah.
It also
so
makes
he can't even brag. How was he bragging?
I know.
It's even worse.
The people gave it to him.
Yeah.
No, production gave it to him, clearly.
Thanks,
like,
baby.
Yeah, it was so stupid. But yeah, I heard Arlie explaining that last night, or like the night before.
Wow.
He was telling someone, they were like talking about it, and like a few people talked about it on Tumblr, but like other than that, it didn't really go anywhere. So anyways, let's move on to the POV, which is kind of like
I know,
stupid
that's why you're
because
defending the hell out of Divergent.
The whole thing was just like Paul crying about heights.
My
like,
mom
give
watched
a
the
shit.
episode, and she's been watching it on and off with me, and she was like, "Are you kidding me? Get man and jump off the thing."
I know. It's like there's even like a protective pad there.
I know.
Like,
Yeah, there's two.
down.
There's two of them. Sorry, two. Like, it was, I don't.
Like,
And
he
you're
waited
right,
pretty
you're
much.
Game.
He pretty
You're
much
just talking
waited
about how
until
annoying
like
his
everybody
voice
came
is.
around again.
Like, when he's stressed or crying, his voice goes like 8 octaves higher. It's really annoying.
You just think back to him like stroking the goatee. This is part of my plan.
It was so stupid too, because it's like you're on the block, like you know everybody wants you to go, and you're not even trying even a little bit harder
Not even
to try to win.
swinging, like, yeah.
He's
It was
going to be talking to
ridiculous.
Arissa, though. Eviction was part of my plan. Like, the people evicted me.
Oh my God. But
He's like, and I'm up here and I'm just thinking about my kids and my parents and my grandfather who fought in the war.
You should be thinking about the damn game.
Yeah, like that
No
went
one
way
take-
too far. Like they were just hardcore, like, let's all feel bad for Paul. And I'm just sitting there like, I don't feel shit for him. Like I
I
don't
feel
feel bad for him at all.
embarrassed.
I feel embarrassed.
Yeah,
myself.
same.
And like the ceiling to this backyard, it's Canada. This backyard is enclosed. The ceiling cannot be that high. Like you are not that high in the air.
Exactly. Like fuck.
Like, calm
Like-
down, son.
It was
If I was Arlie, I was gonna
stupid.
push them off like the.
That's what now you're watching. She's like, why doesn't Arlie push him off?
I can't like just I don't know. And then at the end, like, can Paul overcome like all the turmoil he single-handedly created? And I was just like, what? Like, I don't know.
Can he
Just the
overcome
whole
the
entire thing? Never again do I want to see a veto cut up like that based on one person's fucking performance.
Mhm.
Again, like, I don't know. Kathy probably was so thankful because someone else did worse than her in the fucking challenge. Not that she even watches, but that was so bad. That was worse than her and the honey. Like, I couldn't even. It was so bad.
Wait, didn't John, like, dislocate his shoulder during the comp?
No, that
I
was-
would have. Oh, okay, because I'm like, I would have liked to have seen, that instead of.
They haven't explained it yet, which is
Yeah,
so crazy.
I don't think that they're
Okay.
going to because of the
Okay.
way that they were acting on the feeds. Like, because what happened? He was in the pool
Yeah.
and he did some like weird type of like flippy thing, and
Oh.
his shoulder popped out, and he tried to put it back in, and it was in for a little while, but he like kept going around in the pool, and then it fell out again.
There's a
Oh,
video
couldn't
I
do
can probably
anything.
show you. It looked so.
Yeah, there's a video somewhere. It was gross. Like his shoulder was like out to here, and he was like holding up his arm. It was
Yeah.
like, right after. Like,
But is there an auto-tune remix? That's the real question.
There should be an auto-tune remix of Paul on the flippin' thing. Like,
oh my god, the funniest
make
thing,
it.
though, with fucking John dislocating his shoulder is that like as soon as it happened, like everybody was like, "We need a doctor! We need a doctor!" And there goes Sabrina like running over because they're
Yeah.
outside in the back.
Sarah
She
and
was
Sabrina are so
banging
dramatic.
on
I
the
cannot
door.
deal with them.
Like
Yeah.
Sabrina was going fucking crazy. She's like, "We need a doctor!" Meanwhile,
You
John's
would think
like,
it was Kenny that got hurt based on her reaction.
yeah, exactly. Everyone was freaking out. Like, it took people a while to realize what was happening. Like, I don't know. People thought it was a joke at first. So, like, Arlie poured water on his head and was, like, goofing around with him. But, like, afterwards, like, Kenny explained, like, because Kenny went into, like, the DR with John after to, like, get it fixed. And then Kenny was explaining, like, oh, this has happened to him before. Like, he has, like, surgery on his shoulders multiple times. It, like, pops out a lot. So, like, he's used to it. He'll be fine. He'll come back. But every time that they would bring it up after that in the rest of the night, like, the feeds would cut.
Oh.
And they were told not to talk about it. Just
Not
because I
even
don't
an
think they
interesting
wanted
ordeal,
to
but
have
they're
it in
probably
the
not going to
show.
show it based on how they
No, I don't think that they're going to.
They're just going to randomly have him there in a sling, just like chilling.
yeah.
Mhm. You know, so
Like,
whatever.
the average viewer's like, what?
Yeah,
He's
exactly.
wearing
Like,
sling. He has a sling
Yeah,
on.
exactly.
Can you imagine
That's what I was
Arlie's
thinking.
haircut and then John's arm? Like, what the fuck?
Never addressed. Never.
I know, it's like, what the fuck happened?
That's the twist of
But
the
yeah.
summer. Like, oh wait, it's not summer. That's the twist of the winter, spring.
Winter. Yeah. So, anyways, then Kenny is the one that wins the POV, of course, because Kenny and Andrew are just, like, really good at competitions and shit, and it's pissing me off because no one's even like, oh, yeah, they're a threat.
Wait, guys,
know.
if it's the twist of the winter, we can call it a peppermint twist.
Oh.
Yes. Okay.
Sorry.
And then,
Yeah.
and then they nominate Kyle, which, I mean, was good for Andrew's game just because, like, Kyle clearly has, like, the physical threat going
Here's
for
the
him.
thing, though, about that. Like, it was twisted that way, but realistically, it was, like, it benefited Kenny more than Andrew. It did benefit Andrew a lot. But Kyle did oh, God, here we go with the decays. Kenny did a good job getting Kyle. Kenny did a good job of getting Andrew to think that it was 100% better for his game, which it was than Paul, but still it benefited Kenny and John way more. Because even he said after he was evicted, he'd go after John and Kenny.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted them out, so.
Which, I mean, it's funny because, like, while all that was happening, like, I remember watching the feeds and, like, so many people were saying that they didn't want Kyle to go. And it just made me think, like,
Really?
if Kyle kind of, yeah, like, Netta didn't want Kyle to go, John didn't want Kyle to go.
Before the episode
and then,
even aired? Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was, like, during the feeds, and, like, Sarah was saying that she didn't really want him to go anymore. And it was, like, obviously Adele didn't want him to go.
Yeah.
And then they probably could have got, like, Heather or someone.
Wow.
So if Kyle would have tried a little bit harder to, like,
Kyle would have gotten, he would have gotten him out.
He could have stayed because there were enough people who wanted to keep him around. And think about how much that would have thrown shit around.
Yeah, if he would have took a break from Adele and fucking Paul and actually tried.
And Andrew would have lost.
After Vito, if you're still on the block, you need to campaign a little bit just to make sure that you can't get too comfortable even if you're going home because you don't want to give up. You can't get too comfortable if you think you're going home because it could change. So I don't know.
Like Andrew would have freaked out if Kyle would have stayed. Like that would have been.
That's the thing. I want to see Andrew and Kyle freak out more. Like that would even provoke me to do whatever I wanted to, just because they're so dramatic. Yeah. Just as the whole first 5 alliance is dramatic as fuck. So I would love to just like.
My God. And for a minute, we need to talk about how friggin' sweet Kyle was when he got evicted. Like, I was literally watching it, and, like, Arissa was like, okay, we're, like, our thing is done. He's like, can I say something? Yeah. And I was like, what's he gonna say? And then he started, it was, like, the sweetest thing ever. He's like, everybody's the same, and I was like, tears.
We're all like, texting. We're like, I'm crying.
That's the classiest exit of any BB, like, season was definitely, like, him. I did not see that coming, like, that was just,
It was crazy. And it made me feel bad because, like, I remember when we were first, like, picking our teams for this, right? And everyone was like, Kyle's last, right? And then me and Gabe, we got Kyle. And then when he was in the house, like, he kind of seemed like a sweet guy. And I was like, I don't mind it as much anymore. And then he started getting, like, a little bit douchebaggy, like, in the episodes. But still, on the feeds, like, he seemed like a decent guy. And then he leaves, and he's, like, so sweet. And I'm like, why couldn't the cannibal stay alive? Fuck. It was so bad.
At least, I mean, I don't know. Him and the Nick can make some cool meetup videos and stuff probably and hang out. Those first few people always hang out together. So.
And now it's like Paul, of course, is going to be, like, a target, like an easy person to put up on the block now because he's got like it's so stupid. Like Paul is I hate him. I hate everything about him being in that house. Like he should have left.
So what do you guys think about Allison entering the house? This is before the feeds came in, so you remember your first impression of like
I loved her. I loved her entrance. I thought it was hilarious and smart. Like, she did a good entrance, I thought.
Especially the fact that she's like, you guys are here already? Like,
what?
Do
So good.
you guys like that rule that she can't say anything at all about it?
It's interesting.
See,
I think
it's hard, too.
I was thinking it would be interesting if, like, she could have been like, I've been watching you.
Yeah.
That would have been different. I'm hoping it only lasts for a few weeks, and then she can, like, talk about it.
I don't think she's ever going to be able to talk about it because I think at this point, if she was even allowed to talk about it, it would fuck up her game.
But are they going to get to use that room? I want them to.
Yeah, because she wasn't honest at
first. I think they're going to use the room again because she's not allowed to talk about it.
Right.
Oh, okay.
I wonder if they're going to bring more people in.
Oh, please bring someone to save this damn season.
And like people have been talking about that on the feeds a bit. They're like, okay, well, like, what if someone else is going to come in too? And at the same time, it's kind of like, okay, how many double evictions are they going to need to do to get rid of people? But like,
although they can be like,
the show's only 10 weeks long. We're on week 3 right now, so I don't know how much.
But I'm thinking maybe that room is going to be used for something else. Because why would they build a whole room like that and then only use it for the first week?
Yeah,
true.
And it's called like the war room.
Oh,
why would it be called the war room?
True.
If something wasn't going to happen. And like what, all those bobbleheads were just for them to like...
Yeah. Good, interesting points. Holy fuck.
There's got to be something else there. There has to be.
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
Huh. Alright. Interesting.
And then, of course, to the end of the episode, Ikas wins HOH.
Oh, I was so happy that she won. Alright. No, I was so excited. I was like, yes.
One. Yeah. No, but I just like to say, like, if I were Allison and I was coming into the house and she couldn't say anything, like, I think I would have gone a different route just so I could, like, turn around dramatically in a chair and be like, hello.
Yeah.
I think it would have been worth it. Like, it probably would have jagged everything, but so worth it.
Yeah, it was so funny.
Oh, man. I forgot.
And then I guess now we'll talk about some, like, spoilery type things that have been happening on the feed since. So of course, like, as soon as the episode ends, like, it starts off with, like, everybody hanging out and, like, Allison, like, realizing that Allison knows Kenny for sure. Like, they know each other. And then...
Are they, like, friends, or are they, like...
They're like, 1 degree of separation sort of thing. Like, they are friends with, like, the same people. The same kind of way that, like, John is friends with, like... I mean, Kenny's friends with John's girlfriend and, like, all of his friends.
Yeah. Oh, really? I'm surprised they let that happen. Like, just like when Scott fucked up production and was like called him fucktards, I knew his chances were over. But I'm surprised that they heard, obviously, that Allison was kind of iffy if she knew Kenny. You would think they would just cut that off right away. But to put Nate in would be too suspicious, knowing that he didn't have really any big supporters. So, but I really thought she was not going to get in because of that very reason. You know what I mean?
It was so frustrating for me because at first I really, really, really liked Allison. But then she started talking, like, in the room, like, with the 3, like, Scott was all like, oh, yeah, if I go in there, like, I'm going to work with Ikas, and I'm going to, like, get on the girls, and, like, we're going to be awesome. And then Nate was like, oh, yeah, like, that would be cool, too. And then Allison was kind of like, well, you'd be stupid not to go with, like, the powerhouses. Like, you should work with, like, Kenny or Andrew because they've got what's going on. So she started talking about, like, already working with the guys. And I was like, I was cheering you on because you were going to be a girl going to the house and you could have totally, like, fucked shit up. And she didn't. She's, like, now she's, like, attached to fucking Andrew by the lips and, like, they're going to end up, like, making out all the time and they're going to be, like, another Emmett and Jillian. And it's going to make me so mad because literally Emmett and Jillian didn't, like, go on the block ever.
Listen, this could not have been written better for Ikas in terms of she was as low as just above Paul and Adele in terms of their targets, first 5. Yeah. They wanted her out because they knew she was strong. Okay, she beats the 4 of the 5 eligible first 5 people in the HOH, knocks them all out at once. Beautifully written. She wins. After everyone's party or whatever, she's talking to people saying, I'm kind of thinking Kenny and Andrew. Major error was right there because she told it to Sabrina. Sabrina automatically told it to Kenny. Then Kenny got pissed, so did Andrew, so did everyone else. And then something happens and she changes to, putting up, what's that girl's name? Heather and Paul. Like, my biggest, I think we were talking about before, like, the biggest error, people thinking that's not a good move. I mean, it is a good move I don't agree with because the damage has been somewhat to a certain degree done. They know that she was entertaining the idea to go after them. That's good enough for them to get ammo against her next week and get the
exactly.
To me, I don't know. I don't think she knows that they knew, so maybe that's why she didn't go with it. So, but
like, I know exactly what you mean, and that's what I was thinking. It's like she might as well just go ahead and, like, put up Kenny and Andrew because they already know that she's gunning after them. So that was kind of, like, frustrating for me because it was like, just go for it. But at the same time, it's like, because, like, she ended up nominating Paul and Heather. So it was kind of like, since she started talking about nominating Paul and Heather, the guys were, like, legitimately, like, backing off. Like, they weren't even saying anything about going after Ikas anymore. So I'm praying that they, like, completely forget about her, realize that maybe they can control her a bit now, even though we all know that's not true, because if it were, like, in a couple weeks, Ikas were to win HOH, she would make a big move.
That's my only hope, because she did mention that, like, this is a marathon, not a sprint, so that you can't get numbers. That is my only hope, because otherwise I'm calling her Ikas the idiot, based on how she's played so far. Because I just can't, I mean, like I said, she doesn't have people on her side. Like, what are Paul and Bill going to do? That's the only thing. If she had strong competitors, like an Andrew, even one person like that, she could maybe feel a little more comfortable. But one doesn't have the numbers, and then one doesn't even have the competitors.
She could have had that with John, but now with his fucking shoulder fucked up, he can't.
Oh, John liked
anything. Yeah, John was gonna work.
Really?
John was gonna work with Netta.
What have I been watching?
I know. No, it's so confusing. Like, I need more DR sessions in the episode because I'm just going off of like Netta and like believing what she says to Ikas and John. That's where I'm putting my trust in. So anything that is said between Netta and Ikas, I believe. Anything that's said between Netta and John, I believe.
Okay.
So, Netta and John have been saying how much they hate Andrew. John wants to get out Andrew, but John is also hanging around with the guys just so that he's like not looking like he's too much working with Netta. There was one conversation where John went to Kenny when Andrew was HOH, and he told Kenny, we have to go after Andrew eventually. We have to go after him soon. Kenny seemed on board,
didn't he? I remember that.
Kenny seemed super on board because eventually Netta kind of let it... No. John told it to
Sabrina's
Sarah.
Ass let it slip.
John told it to Sarah, and I think that Netta also told it to Sabrina. So they talked a bit, and then Sabrina went to Kenny, Arlie,
and Andrew in the bed.
And Andrew, and brought it up, and Kenny was just kind of like, don't worry about it, man. Like, let's just see what happens in the next couple weeks. And I was like, yes, he's not like, oh yeah, he told me the same thing. He's totally coming after you. So I have like hope for like an Ikas, Kenny, John, Netta thing going on. I am praying for that so much right now.
Because I remember Ikas was talking about, I'm trying to remember where I heard this at, that she was thinking, or she was talking to someone, I don't remember who, about possibly, like, obviously nominating Kendrew, but then making Kenny her target, which is the smarter of the two, because he's the link that holds their whole lines together in terms of, with Kenny, because of Kenny, you get the Netta and John thing, too. If you break that, that goes away, because John doesn't have anything to do with Andrew, at least, behind the scenes. So if she were to maybe even this is just playing off ideas. If she could have picked up on that, which I don't know if she even does know that John doesn't like Andrew, talk to John, somehow see what he thinks about nominating someone else, be risky against Andrew, and then getting obviously John, Netta, Paul, Adele's vote. That's 4. You need 5? You still need 5 or 6, but that's pretty damn close to do something like weird and kind of save Kenny, because I'm sure he would never be okay with his newfie brother like being on the block, but somehow figuring out something where you can say, I want to save Kenny. But you can see what I'm talking about? Like, I just feel like she knew that Kenny's a link, but I don't know if she could just somehow prove. I don't know if that makes sense. Make sense. But yeah, I just think that she. I don't know.
It's frustrating for me because like I liked Andrew at first, but I don't like how cocky he is, and I don't like the power that he feels that he has over everyone. And
he's very self-entitled too.
He got mad at really mad that Ikas was even thinking about nominating him and Kenny, and it's like, you are the top physical threat, like, duh, people are gonna want to come after you. And he's like, she thinks she can do that, like, what a fucking dick, sort of thing, right? And it's like,
she won HOH just like you did, so calm down.
Like, what game are you playing? Like, you're a physical threat. You've won 2 competitions. Duh, she's gonna come after you. She'd be stupid not to. And
Gabe, who is your favorite so far of everyone?
John.
You like John?
He's so cute.
I love John. He is so funny.
And he's got that accent.
This is the thing. Is like normally like Newfie accents are like really weird. Like Newfie accents, like normally when you hear them, you're like, what the fuck is going on? But John's, it's like just so adorable, and I'm like, oh, you're like a little puppy. Like, it's so cute.
I really
his eyes and everything. Like his eyes are so blue, but then he's got those like circles around them, like the darkness under, and I'm just like, you just look so adorable, like all the time. Like
he's just so cool. Like
I think he is playing a really good social game.
I wonder though how. To be honest, although that arm thing was probably really painful, it's working to his advantage like no other. He has a physical reminder.
Yes.
I am not like a threat. Like
exactly.
I mean,
what was happening was Adele was talking to Ica, and they were like, okay, if you nominate Andrew and Kenny, and one of them wins veto, who are you going to put up? And Ica's like, John. And I don't know how much she really thinks, like, that's where I think she's not as close with wanting to keep John, but, like, at the same time, it's so confusing, because, like, I don't, whatever. So she was thinking about putting up John, and then Adele's like, what are you talking about? Why would you put up John? He's not the smartest, plus he's got a friggin' dislocated shoulder. What's he gonna do? Go after the next guy. Go after Arlie, who is someone who appears to the house to be really trying to fit in with the guys. So he would easily vote for them
by the
to
time
stay,
he's healed
no
up,
matter what.
it's gonna be too late. I can just see him coming so far. His shoulder
isn't gonna heal in the house. He's not gonna be wearing a sling the whole time, but he's not gonna be able to do like full everything. And like he can play that up as much as he wants. If it's
true. I would be like, oh,
better. You can still just be like, oh man, like my shoulder is still killing me.
Like he has it's just like it's a blessing. Like no one's gonna. It's almost seemed like a waste of an HOH, even though socially, like you said, he's a very strong player, and that's what's gonna take him to the end now, as well as if he can get the mental comps in order too. So,
which I mean, in his interview, like at the beginning, he said like he thinks people might underestimate how how smart he really is, because he's like a dumb.
You can tell he's smart by how he talks. You know, he has a weird accent, just because his ideas. You know what I mean? He's not blinded by the bro thing. Only with Kenny is he like that. But Andrew, he knows, you can't have too many alpha males in the house. Eventually someone's going to want to pick each other off, unless you're the brigade. So then, like, I just don't want to watch a whole season where everyone's afraid to make big moves again, and just, like, no one wants to go after, like, this first, I don't think anyone knows about the first 5. Wait, do John and Netta know about the first 5? Technically, they just know that they have an alliance of 7 now. Because obviously the first 5 is closer than the 7.
See, the alliances are kind of all over the place, because the other night, like, okay, remember after Ica was crying over the potato thing?
Potato gate,
and Sabrina's like, look, your closest friends in the house are Rochelle and Netta, and where are they right now? They're not here comforting you. So then Ica was like, yeah, Sabrina, you're right. You're the only one that's, like, there for me.
Why she would tell
and then Sabrina told... No, okay, so then Ica told Rochelle, like, Sabrina said, like, look, who isn't here for you? And she was throwing, like, both Rochelle and Netta under the bus. And then Rochelle goes to Sabrina, tells her that Ica just told this. Sabrina starts crying and says that's not how it went. It was the opposite way around. Like, Ica was throwing you under the bus. So now Sabrina does, and now Rochelle doesn't trust Ica.
And now Rochelle's either. Yeah.
So now Rochelle wants to work with Sarah and Sabrina, and there was a talk between Sarah, Sabrina, Kenny, Andrew, and Arlie about a final 6, or like a 6 alliance thing. So, like, literally, they just brought in, like, Rochelle, and it's just so stupid.
Here's the thing, like, I just you were saying that right now, like, it is not some games it may be true to make a big move. In Ica's game, it's not, because the chances of one of those, whatever number it is now, it's fluctuating between 5 to 7 to 8. Those people are going to win HOH next time. You think Paul's going to pull out an HOH if he's even there? Adele, I don't know what the fuck you could do. I mean, hopefully he's physical. But, like, you don't have many people that are on the opposing side that can win. Like, they're going to win, and they're obviously going to keep it in the group. And that's why you need to start picking now, because it's going to be too late.
I mean, in that sense, like, as long as she would go after, like, as long as someone that she put up on the block. Okay, so if she nominated, like, Kenny and Andrew, and say, like, Andrew came down, as long as she would have nominated, like, Arlie, Rochelle, Sabrina, or Sarah, it would have been fine.
Yeah,
but exactly. I feel like she probably would have gone for Paul or Adele if one of them came off.
Yeah, but you see what I mean, though, like, in terms of, like, no one's gonna, if she's not gonna do it, then there's no one left that will do it besides Adele and Paul. Like, they're losing numbers slowly but surely, you know what I mean? Like, that 7 is a much more, that's half the house. You're not going to get, like, some Heather is in space all the damn time. What is she? I think, hopefully this fuels her fire. Hopefully it fuels her fire.
It's so frustrating because it's like Heather up to this point has like annoyed me so much. Like
She
so
made
much.
people celebrate
much.
her boyfriend's birthday when he's not even in the house.
Do you want to know how long they've been dating?
How
2
long?
fucking months.
I don't want to hear that. It's making me mad.
And she made
I don't want to hear anything about Heather.
She wanted to make stir fry because it's his favorite food, and then like Andrew, of course, because he's a fucking douchebaggy, like cocky, like I can cook sort of guy. He's like, so what kind of stir fry is that? And she's like, just the normal kind.
I bet you he wasn't even watching the feeds. He's probably cheating on her right now, like when it was happening.
Oh my god, that's what I was thinking. I was like
he's not watching the
for
feeds.
2 months. She's gonna be gone for potentially 3 months.
It would scare me away, first of all. Yeah.
Like,
it's not even like I thought it was like based on how she was acting a 5 or 4 year thing, but 2 months.
No, they've been dating for 2 months. Like, it's crazy. They're literally insane. And then it's like, but she was talking like so much sense last night. Like it was crazy. I was like,
no, she wasn't really. But how? Because when
Ika.
No, wait. Maybe I missed that part. But before, when Ika legit, she's not even. Ika was like, "Does anyone want to volunteer?" Looking around, everyone's like, "No." Then Heather's like, "No." And then Ika's like, "You don't feel comfortable?" "No." Wait, but if I did go up, shut your fucking mouth. Don't fucking keep like giving her opportunities.
This is the thing: is that both Ika and Heather have a chance to really trust each other hardcore and gain each other's trust in this situation. Because Ika's all like telling her like, I mean, it makes sense that they would put up Heather even if they weren't putting up Heather because they hated her. Like, it's a good move rather than putting up 2 guys because it makes it look like you're attacking the guys. If you put up Heather, then she's not going to overreact about it. Sure, she's going to cry a little bit, but also, like, you know, she's like eye candy, and even though her voice is annoying, like, people still kind of like her, which is confusing to me, but if she were to put up, like, Sabrina, like, oh, it's so frustrating. I don't know why Sabrina wouldn't volunteer herself. She knows she's fucking safe. She would not go home.
I was hoping that. I was like, put Sabrina up as a pawn. That's all that. I was hoping so much. I was like, please give me that.
But it's so frustrating. So, I mean, like, but Heather was kind of like, oh, yeah, it makes sense. But I can't remember what it was, but she was saying something. Oh, no, she was saying that she thinks that Sabrina and Sarah are working with Kenny and Andrew.
What? I missed that.
That's what Heather said. She said that she thinks, because Ika was like, okay, well, who do you think are, like, the strongest girls? And she's like, oh, Sarah and Sabrina for sure. And then she's like, why? And it's like, because they're so close with the guys, because they're like, they must be working with like Kenny and Andrew. And I'm like, Heather, yes, keep telling people that. Keep telling people that, Heather.
Do you guys think that the tides could change and Heather could go home though? Like,
they were talking about it this morning. They want to. The target's flipped to Heather already.
Oh, right. Oh. Yeah. Well, is it a bad thing for Ika's game at least?
No, because then she's got Paul, who, even though she doesn't trust Paul, Paul's going to stick with Adele. And then they've got more guys who will go after the other guys, because if Heather were to win HOH, we know that Sabrina would be in her ear immediately. But if Paul or Adele were to win HOH, they'd totally go after Andrew and Kenny.
Yeah, and if you keep Paul and Adele in the house, those are 2 people that are easy for the nomination chairs, too. You know what I mean? Like, sure, she'd still be in the mix, maybe, but... it's interesting. I don't know. I just hope that... Have they picked players for POV yet or no? I heard that they did or something. John was saying... They picked
players already.
John was picked, I know that, right?
Oh, I don't know.
I thought, because John was hugging Heather and was like, I'll fight for the veto to win or something like that.
Last night he was saying that, but I think that's just if he gets picked for the veto, he'll fight for her. But if she wins veto, she's not coming off the block anyways. No matter who wins veto, they're not taking Heather off because they need Paul to go home.
So if she wins, I wonder what would happen. Adele would, oh no, I don't want that then. Damn it.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. Because
we'll see.
Yeah, exactly. That's Ika's thing. Like, Ika told Heather that she doesn't want anyone else to win the veto, because if they come off the block, then Adele goes up, and then it might not be too sure that Paul will go home, and Ika was saying that she really wants Paul to go home.
Can you pick up on any of the girls? I think the girl in the best shape in terms of that weird girl alliance that isn't really an alliance, but they were faking it, is Sarah. Am I right or wrong? I can never find anyone shit talking Sarah ever. Besides, Potato, like that was.
No one's talking
even though I
shit
can't
about
stand
Sarah.
her, she like no one. It's like a motherly thing. / she doesn't obviously wasn't a threat, but if you watch that mental comp, she was in the final 5. That's something that needs to be noted in terms of people. Like we can't just forget about these people. Sure, there's bigger sharks and bigger fish to fry.
Yeah, people are gonna forget about Sarah for sure.
And then she's gonna just fly into the. All I pray is that Sabrina does not make it to jury. I have to watch her in an affinity pool or anything, just tanning, doing anything. I'm gonna kill myself.
I need Sabrina to leave as soon as possible, or I'm literally gonna go crazy. Like, she pisses me off so much. She reminds me of a friend that I had in high school that like I literally couldn't fucking stand. So like she needs to go. Like one of those girls that just kind of is always like there for everyone, but doesn't really give a shit about you, and it's just like, get the fuck out. And then she'll like cry over the stupidest things, and it's like.
Yeah, the damn college, she's holding on to these things. They're just.
And she's like, oh, it's so stupid because like she's doing this whole like, oh, I swear on my dog. I don't know what's with everyone in the house fucking swearing on their dogs, but like.
I swear on my dog.
Kenny's like, I swear on my dog. Everyone, I swear on my dog. Sabrina's dog is dead.
Bunch
and
of
she's
dead
still
dogs.
swearing on her dog.
Sabrina's dog is dead. I'm done.
Dog.
Oh. Don't swear on it, Gabe.
Yes, I will.
Sabrina was even saying this morning that she's fine with Heather going home because she didn't swear on her dog to Heather. She wasn't even wearing her dog's collar on her necklace. She's like, I said, I promise. I didn't say I swear on my dog, and I wasn't even wearing my dog's necklace, so it's okay.
Hope your dog. I can't with her. I don't know.
But yeah.
Wait, but like going back, you were like saying how Sarah was in the final 5 on the mental comp the other day. It made me remember, like, when I was watching that, my stress levels were off the chart because I was like, John,
when it was
sit down, John!
When it was Ika in the 4, when it was Ika in the 4, I was like, like.
I know, with everyone, it was like, because Netta was like up, and you could see on her face that she made the wrong decision, and she was even talking about it later. She didn't know that she could change her mind after she had already stepped on the step.
Did she watch his Big Brother? She didn't know. Get out of here. Probably the stress or something got to her.
So, I mean, like, she was freaking out. So she was like, she knew she got it wrong, and then she was out, and then John was out, and
was she trying to win?
She said that she told John that she was. Or she told Ika that she was. I don't know. I can't.
That would hurt her game. She should stay far away from a competition.
Because her original plan was like, I don't want to win
anything, and she needs to stick with that at least for right now. So yeah.
You're already a threat. Please stick with that. So
See, this week is probably going to be even more. I can't handle another week like this past week. I need to call, like, just in terms of, I don't know, like just the changing of, like right now if I had to pick my favorite, it'd be Netta, least favorite Sabrina. Allison is like dropped damn near in the middle.
For me, like Allison was like at my top, and now she's like down at the bottom. Like it's so funny when I rate people on Jokers. It's like
I go in. That's my favorite thing. Like, bitch, your rating going down.
Yes, because my top favorites right now, like. Even though Ika isn't playing this week as much, like I'm still kind of like going through my head on what I think is a good move for her. Like I don't think that what she's doing right now is necessarily a bad move, but it's not like the best move that she could be doing. And I don't think that she wants to take the risk right now with putting up people when like literally the majority of the house is an alliance that would never let the guys leave.
Yeah, it's not the best move for her, and that's the problem right now. Sure, you can think about your alliance, but you don't really have a set, strong one. So then that's when you come first, because Paul is not coming after you. No shit. Heather's not coming after you. Like, and the thing is, if Heather were to come out, they still wouldn't go after her. So then she's definitely. I just don't.
It's frustrating. Yeah, it's tough for Ika, especially since like she was at the top of like people that the guys were gonna go after next. They were like, yeah Ika, you've got to go.
Yeah. I think all she needs to hear, I wish someone would leak it to her. I feel like that's what needs to fuel her fire. Because even Kenny was hosting a Google Hangout with some fans or whatever, and he was saying that, like, if you think anyone can do it. Huh? Oh, here, oh, shit, here we go again.
You're going to keep doing it.
Like, Google Hangout.
Kyle's not even in the house anymore, and you're still mixing them up.
Well, I know. Kyle was saying that he thinks anyone can do it. He thinks it's Ika, because he called her a lion. I was just like, little do you know, she's going to put up Heather and fucking Paul. Just like, you can't.
Yeah, I mean, I have high hopes for Ika just because I think that she could win, like endurance competitions. Like, she's going to be perfect for that. Like, her and Netta, like, if they do any sort of, like, hanging
Allison,
on to something for a long time.
Allison.
But look at how friggin' tiny Ika and Netta are. Like, they are a lot smaller than Allison.
But you add cold water to Netta's. You add cold water to Netta. I'm sorry, Ika, and she won't be so strong. I feel like she can't handle it.
True. Oh, okay. Well, we'll see. I'm just hoping. Oh, and the fact that, like, Allison totally has immunity this week. What do you guys think of that?
Oh, is that a thing?
I think it's fair because she can play for HOH.
Yeah.
I think that's fair. Yeah. If she played and then got immunity, then no.
Also, the question is if she gets to vote this week. Nobody knows for sure if she gets to vote this week.
What's happened in the past? I'm trying to think.
I know, that's what I'm trying to think, too.
Okay, so in the BB13, didn't the people, like Portia, I remember she had immunity, and she still got to vote. Did she get to vote? I don't remember.
Okay, remember that season when they got, like, their golden keys or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that they were allowed to vote.
I don't think so either. I think that's how it should be then.
Danielle got hers, like, right away, and then I remember her, like, not even, like, stepping into the DR to do a vote or playing any competitions or anything. So I'm hoping that Allison doesn't get to vote, because that would be so unfair if she does. Because then she's an extra number. Yes, because they're just, like, making out, and it's like, I really hope that Allison is going to play him. Like, I want Allison
I hope in the feed she's just like, but she's not.
She's not.
How are you a fan? How are you a fan and you're going in like that? Like, you are blind and dumb.
She's a fucking idiot. If she's seriously, like,
and
following...
you have the nerve. Yeah, you have the nerve. You went from, like, legit, as soon as I started talking to him that night, I was like, boom. Like, it wasn't even like a progression. It was like, boom. I could just see it just like...
Yeah, exactly.
Holy fuck, that cat.
I know. I was, like, looking. I was like, oh, my God.
No, I just... what are the cats? Who's the cat's favorite? Probably
he likes
Paul.
John.
Of course he likes John. But yeah,
John party over here.
I guess we'll see how it goes. I'm so worried about
I just want Netta to stay a while.
Double D party dirty.
A long time.
It just hurts because, like, we were all celebrating Ika's win, and then, like, I don't know. If she does survive and make it past jury, I will say this was an okay move for her, but I will always wonder what could have been with.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think
like
that
last
Ika
week with getting rid of Paul too. Like.
Yeah. I hope Paul eats food if he puts the whole house on punishment like he was threatening to.
Did you see last night with the fucking cake? He had like a cake, and he was like, "I'm gonna do it. I can't do it," because he's a have-not, right? So he's like, "I'm gonna eat it. I'm gonna eat." And they're like, "No, Paul, please don't. You're gonna fuck up everyone." Like, if he does that, I hope
to God he does it. I hope
he does it too. I also hope that Allison like leaks about the war.
Yeah, me too. I'm so mad at her. I can't. It hurts to say it.
Like, how friggin' perfect would that be if she was like, "Oh yeah, like, I saw you do that," and then they're like, "What?" And then, like, Big Brother's like, "Allison, please leave the house." Like, how perfect would that be?
Just alarms played, like just like the BB what is it, the BB Mafia, whatever the fuck it is, the BB, what is it called? Secret Service comes in and takes her off.
That would be so funny if literally they just, like, walk into the house and, like, come and get her from wherever she is and take her out. That would be hilarious.
She's like, "Should I bring my bag?" And they're like,
imagine Andrew's face during all of this too, might I add. Oh, priceless.
Oh my God.
We'll see. I'm worried.
Yeah.
Yeah, just give me a second.
Right.
It should be an exciting week, so I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Thank you, love you.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
So yeah.
Thank you.
We'll see.
Sorry.
Yeah. I think.
What?
I think it'll be insane.
Yeah.
Like, it'll be really intense this week. Like, it'll be interesting also
Love
to see
you.
how people feel about Ika, like, next week.
Okay.
Yeah. If she can survive, I mean, honestly, I'm really worried about her getting, because she
Yeah.
was already ruffling feathers week 1, hence why she was in a
But
block.
she
Who'd you
needed
guys
to
say?
win the HOH this week.
Yeah,
Who?
and that's some. I
Ika.
think someone needs to.
Yeah.
Someone needs to have a crackling moment and piss off someone that goes to tell her this shit, so that she'll get a fire. Because I feel like, I don't know, she knows she needs to go after them. It's just a matter of she's too afraid or just thinks timing's off. I want someone to light a fire under her and give her that ammo to just start shooting people straight up and getting out of the house. Like,
Yeah, I'm also hoping that, like, before, like, the next HOH, that Allison and Andrew, like, are really touchy-feely, like, in public, so that everybody can see how close they're getting, so that it can totally intimidate Sabrina, so that she turns against Andrew.
Sabrina has so much power. Can you believe this shit? This is embarrassing.
I know. It frustrates me. I mean, like, she's playing. I hate her, but she's not playing the worst game right now.
Oh, don't. I can't do this.
I know. I know.
It sucks. I hate it. I don't want her to even get to jury. Like, I would love
Is
her
her
to
name
go
in
next
even anyone's
week.
mouth? No. Like
No.
the guy. Like,
Okay, well, it was with Heather. Heather brought it up.
Oh, well,
Heather said she needs to get rid
come
of
on, have
Sabrina.
a win HOH. Do something.
I know. Like, imagine if Heather wins HOH. That would be crazy.
Wait,
Adele has
guys,
to step his game.
Does John like play professional hockey or like?
No, it's like the
Like,
it's
no.
like the under that, whatever that is.
Oh, so I can't like watch it.
No. All right.
I'm like, I should start watching hockey or something.
Oh, it's so funny.
Okay.
But
Well,
yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, I think that's enough for this
pray to the BB
episode.
gods that something miracle. I don't know.
Swear on your dog.
But yeah.
Promise on your dog.
Yeah, I don't have a dog.
She's a
Oh
cat
my
person.
God. We'll just pretend you do.
Yeah, I don't know, we'll see. I don't know. It'll be really interesting.
I swear on my lizard. That's not the same.
I know. This morning, John was like, "I swear on my hamster."
John has a hamster.
Yeah.
Who's taking care of it? I'll do
Where
it.
am I gonna be? We'll see
All
then.
right. But yeah. So we should be
All
good.
All right.
All right.
Till next
Well, anyways,
time. All right.
just thank
Bye,
you
guys.
for watching.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.